trying to set my cruise control here. Probably doing something I shouldn't be, vlogging and driving, but hey, I'm well aware of what's going on. There's a Conway truck in front of me that can't maintain speed for some reason. Been a lot of changes since I did my last one. My last one, I was almost freezing to death. Maybe it wasn't that cold, but it was pretty cold. Started making some plans. That was in the Dakota, trying to figure out what I was going to do, how I was going to fix the problem. The problem was the heater core was out. And actually the core itself was fine. I never did get into it, but I know what the problem was. It's the tubes that insert into the core that go through the firewall. It's an absolutely terrible design. It's probably the worst design aspect of that entire truck, besides where the body rots out all over the place. And it got really cold here. I think we had some negative 16s, maybe negative 20s here about a week ago, overnight. Made for some really cold drives to work in the morning. And it just got to wearing on me, and I really didn't want to spend the money on a vehicle. I really just kind of wanted to fix that, but I couldn't get into my garage, and the Bronco's still in there. Well, if the Bronco's running, I could drive in. It just kind of all snowballed, and then I noticed that the Dakota needed a tire, and the body's all rotted out, and the speakers are blown, and it's got a taillight housing that's completely dead, and it just kept building and building and going and going, and I finally decided last weekend that enough was enough. I bit the bullet. I accepted that I was going to have to replace it. So I started thinking about what I wanted to replace it with, and I was like, well, we could look at some Explorers, or maybe another Dakota would be all right. Maybe get a 4-wheel drive this time. We were looking at cheap cars, and then it occurred to me, I had always sworn to my wife that I would have another Panther chassis or box-bodied Ford. And when I had one back in like 06, I'd put a 351 Windsor and a C6 in it, dual exhaust, 31 by 10.5 inch tires on the back. Just made me a nasty rat rod. And it was a really good car. The car was in really good shape overall. And I stayed late after work one night. I put the exhaust on it and got her all ready to go, and the car was just sitting there idling, just sounded mean. And decided I needed to take it out for a test drive. Well, 15 minutes later, I plowed a deer. When I say plowed a deer, I mean I totaled the car. Kept it on its wheels, kept it upright, but the car was a total loss. So since then, that 15 minutes has always stayed with me, and I don't know if I'm going to have a car quite like that again. What I'm driving right now isn't exactly what I was going for. This is a 1989, so second year for EFI, Mercury Grand Marquis LS, and this car has 79,000 original miles on it. This was somebody's going to church car, and that is all they ever used it for. More money than I was really wanting to spend, but the payments are about where I was comfortable with. Nice car. And the heater works. Major plus. The interior is just plush. A couple of blemishes on the paint, but it looks like door tags, and they're not even dents. They're just where a door might have grazed the paint. So stuff that's easy to fix. And it's going to be my daily driver. Again, it's not exactly the car I wanted. I really prefer the Crown Vic or the Ford front end and rear end better. And it's nicer than I was going for, which you're probably going, well, that's not a bad thing. And it's not, but it makes me apprehensive about doing some of the things later on that I was thinking of doing. But it's made me think about new modifications and things I want to do to this car that innovative stuff that I can do without cutting up original equipment or modifying the dash too much, and so it's leading me into some interesting areas that I've really never considered before, you know, because the Bronco, you know, screw it, cut the dash out, we'll put gauges there. The Dakota, you know, wasn't so much like that, but it definitely wasn't a vehicle I felt compelled to preserve in any aspect. Same with the Suburban. I mean, again, nice truck, but nothing that I feel compelled to preserve in any way. So this car, yeah, is all original. Nothing's been modified. I got to replace the lock mechanism for the glove box. And I can't decide if there's something missing from the passenger side of the dash, or if that's just how they are. So I need to do some research on that. I don't know if that's like an air intake or what it is. There's a cutout just right underneath the dash pad on the face of the dash, and I'm pretty sure my Crown Vic didn't have that. My Crown Vic was an 84 or an 85, and this is an 89. Putting a head unit in these cars isn't bad because they already have the square Ford head unit in them. It's really easy. You buy like a $20 dash kit, you slap your stereo in. I thought this had the door speakers in it. I hadn't really looked at it that close yet. As it turns out, it doesn't have the door speakers. It's got the 2 in the dash and the 2 in the rear deck. Normally these have 6 speakers in them, so that must be a premium sound package option. So I've just got the 4. So I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do there, but that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. The other thing that I don't like about any of these cars, and this is not a deal breaker, but it's just something I want to address, is there are no real analog gauges. It's all idiot lights, or as somebody else pointed out, change engine now lights, which is what led to me to putting the 351 in the Crown Vic in the first place. It had a stock 302 in it. Took it for an afternoon drive. The car was running great. All of a sudden it lost power, and then all my lights came on. Come to find out, the oil pump had locked up, broke the shaft, lost oil pressure, had lost oil pressure for quite a while, and smoked the motor. So I'm playing around with some ideas for some different gauge options. It's got a clock here in the middle of the dash. It's kind of neat. It tells you the date, it tells you the time. It has an elapsed timer, so you can do a trip time. I kind of thought about maybe trying to get another one of those clocks and just hack that with like an Arduino or a Teensy or a Raspberry Pi or something, and make that display show oil pressure, coolant temp, and time, just kind of on a scrolling arrangement. But then I got to thinking, there's like a, I don't know, what is that, 3.5 inch, 4 inch opening, square opening where this clock sits. If I could find an OLED display that I could drive, well, then I could design my own gauge and make it look all nice and pretty, and try and match the stock gauges. So I'm gonna play around with it, with something like that. But again, it's an idea that's innovative. I mean, yeah, it's something I can put in, but you know, it's all gonna be digital leads. The sensors I use for something like that will all be add-on sensors. I'm not going to replace any sensors, so all of the stock systems will remain functional as they are. You know, I definitely need to do something about this steering wheel cover. I think this is an aftermarket cover that's on this wheel. I need to do a little bit of research before I just go cut it off. But it's got 28 years or whatever it is of old man sweat all on it. I mean, they put some drive time into it. I mean, I guess that's enough accumulation for 79,000 miles. So be looking for this one coming up probably later this spring. We got to get the Bronco out of the garage. We got to get that damn thing running and back on the road. And hopefully it's going to become my daily driver, and then I can put this in the garage and clean this up and keep it from deteriorating. And this isn't the exact car I was looking for, and I think I mentioned that. What I'm really looking for, what I'd really love to have, and it drives my wife absolutely bonkers. She doesn't get it, and I don't understand what her problem is. I want a Country Squire wagon. I've never had one. I've never even been in one. I think they're just cool. I like wagons. Always had a soft spot for Vista Cruisers. And I kind of thought about maybe going with like a Chevy wagon. You know, I could go with like an early 90s Chevy wagon with the Caprice, the aero body. But I don't really like Chevy's drivetrain, the TBI. I mean, I've already got one more Chevy that I really want. It's a Suburban. It's a good truck. It's going to get replaced with a Ford, most likely, in a couple of years. I'm a Ford guy. Raised Chevy. Grew up to be Ford. What can I say? Sorry, Dad. And actually, he's got an F-150 now, so joke's on him. But yeah, I really want a Country Squire wagon, or a two-door Crown Vic. The LTD Crown Victoria would be the full title of that on the Ford side. So if you got a lead on one, Central Kansas area, my Grand Marquis is available for trade. Yeah, I'm making payments on it, but banker already knows that if a more desirable car comes along, then I'll be looking to swap them out. But based on the level I'm at with this now, which is actually more like up here at this headliner that's not coming down or embellished in any ways or blemished, or there's not even a cigarette burn in it. You always have cigarette burns in these cars. Yeah. Since this car is at such a high level, the next one's going to have to be on the same level. So hopefully I can find one in a couple of years. Until then, I'm going to enjoy this. Well, everybody, I want to thank you for watching. If you're subscribed, thank you again. If you're not subscribed and you've been watching my videos, take some time, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notifications. I'm looking for feedback from you guys. Always looking for feedback. Tell me what you think, good or bad, thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell me what you don't like, tell me what you do like. Subscribe, keep following me. I got a Facebook page coming. I'll let you know more on that when I get it. If you got any ideas for channel names, I'm open to that too. I'm kind of running into some writer's block on that idea. So thanks for watching, guys.